Good evening, beloveds. It has been a while. I've been sitting here reflecting on life. It's been a very long week already, and last week was even longer. But in trying very hard to come back to my center, I realized change is always happening. It's always occurring, whether we want it to or not. So once I begin to surrender to change, I begin to come to like a place of why the change had to take place. And short answer, change is inevitable. And in fact, if you're not changing, then you're complacent. If you're complacent, then you're just not living. Have you ever found yourself in a place where, there's an abundance of situations that are like unfolding, like all at the same time? Well, if you think, one major upheaval is a challenge, then 3 or 4 is like the epitome of chaos. So that was me last week. So now I only have maybe 2 from the 4. But what I can tell you is that I stopped growing. I become very complacent and very comfortable and very used to the way things are or was. And I guess this is just a reminder to us all that when things become comfortable, the universe is always going to do something to shake things up. And if you're lucky enough to get 4 upheavals at one time, then there's something so very great in store for you. I guess when you come to the place where you forget that, it just seems like you have such a long way to go to embrace this new reality. But after you come to grips with everything and you notice that you're still standing, then you should celebrate. You should celebrate yourself. You should celebrate your new journey because you're worth it. You're worth it. So I'm saying all this to say, keep growing. When you come to a place where things just seem like they aren't coming together, pay attention. Not only do you pay attention to the unraveling, right? The drama in that. Matter of fact, just be still, because there's a place that you're going. You don't know, and you didn't necessarily remember agreeing to it. But you did. You did. And you're coming. You in your DNA. You have the whole thing. You know the whole plan. And you agree to it too, especially if you got to live this life. So, what I'm saying is, don't stop growing. Because when you do, if you do, which I hope you don't, always find some new something. Follow your desire. That's what I should say. Just follow your desire to that thing that sparkles the most in your life at this time, right? Because it's changing. It's always changing. You came here to change. Just like the earth is orbiting, always moving. It's always, you too must move. You too must find delight in newness and the freshness of roads untraveled and experiences unexperienced. Okay? You have to get there, and you have to stay in that mindset, right? Because you came into this life to live it to its fullest, to experience, to learn, to grow, right? If you come to a place where those things are halted, just know that things will unnaturally undo themselves to find your new spot, okay? Because you have to share. We share everything, right? It's just the way it is. So I tell you this. Don't become complacent. It will only create the loss of comfort, which is actually a gift. Because when you're not comfortable, you're moving, you're growing, you're expanding, and you're accepting all of that expansion also. So just don't slow down, okay? Right now is unprecedented time, okay? In our lives, in all of our lives. And we have to come to a place where we are moving on to the next frame so that we can meet our next orders, I guess, our next adventures, our next thing that we're supposed to encounter as we live in this lifetime, okay? I'm hoping everyone is doing very, very well in spirit. There's been a lot of changes since the last time we talked. And I think those changes is why, I just sat still. I just could not believe. But I understand and have come to grow to this new idea that we must all do our part to be true to ourselves. Do not become complacent. Just because you're quarantined or you have to stay in, there's limitations. Don't fix your mind to accept, the suggestion of distance from yourself, from the world, from your ideas, from everyone, right? We all got right real quick, put our little slavery caps on real fast, right? But we ought to be challenging this idea. We ought to be looking at this and saying that there's something not quite measuring up to be anything healthy, right? Or keeping you from a place of sickness. You have to think about it. Search up those masks, the mask that was used in slavery. We all walking around like that. You gotta think about that. But mostly, don't become complacent. don't become complacent. Okay? Use your mind and your heart and your energy to embrace newness every chance you get, because that is what you're supposed to be. And as long as you're where you're supposed to be, you're going to be able to inherit all that you came here on this here planet to inherit. I pray all is well, that all will be well. Until next time, beloveds, be well and think well and keep moving.